Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Berezovsky Life. Well, Berezovsky is actually my family name. That's why the name of the channel is like this. So today I would like to present you this scarf. Well, it's actually not a scarf, but I'm not sure how to call the circular scarves, you know, the ones that you tie up the ends of. So anyway, it's a scarf. We call it here in Ukraine, we call it snood, but I'm not sure that this is the right name in English. Anyway, so for now, it looks like a scarf, but in the end, I'm gonna sew up the ends of it and get this huge circle, you know, so that I can just cover myself up with it in the winter, and it's gonna be pretty warm. So, my idea today is to show you how to get this nice pattern here, how to how to make it look like these are braids, you know. And so let's start with the yarn I used. Well, here it's like the end, close to the end of the fifth ball. And I used the yarn of an Italian brand called Borgo de Pazzi. I'm not sure whether you can find it anywhere in Europe or in America, but you could actually replace it by any type of yarn, whichever you like. So here it's a pretty thick thread. Here we've got 50 grams in a ball and 80 meters. What's that in yards? I'm gonna show somewhere here because I'm not sure about yards. So it consists of 40% of wool, 10% of alpaca, and 20% of alpaca, and 40 more percent of acrylic. So to my mind, it's a pretty soft yarn, and it would be nice and great to use it somewhere close to your face, close to your neck. You could, as I said, you can easily replace it by any yarn you like. Maybe you've got your favorite yarn, I don't know. Because here in the scarf, it doesn't matter how thick the yarn is, because so it's not like a jumper, it's not like a sweater where you have to be sure about the size of each stitch, so here it's all up to you. What would be the width of your scarf, or how long you want it to be, and so on. So basically you could choose any type of winter or autumn yarn and it will work fine. So, but all I have to do is to explain the way I did it with my yarn. But actually, the only difference here would be if you take the thinner type of yarn, you will have to make more braids. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 braids. If you take, for example, something thinner, you might make it 5 and get the same width. So in my case, with this 50 gram 80 meters, I have this width. I'm going to show you in centimeters and inches. So let's see if I show it to you like this. Here we have around 30 centimeters and it makes around 9 inches. And the length of it, I'm still quite not sure what it's going to be in the end. For now it's 88 centimeters, but I still have some yarn left and I still have to wash it, and I suppose it's going to become a bit longer, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to give you the information of the total length somewhere here after I perform the washing of it. So let's start. And it's actually so easy that a beginner could do it. You just have to follow all of the steps and then repeat them over and over again until you get the desired length. So what do we have here? if we're talking about this type of yarn, if we're talking about this thickness of the yarn, right? So what I did here, I have, so on both sides of my scarf, you could see that I used this pearl stitches here. See, it's all pearls. Then I actually have my pattern, which is like 4 braids. It's called braid with a shadow. I'm not sure how you call it, but in here in Ukraine it's braid with a shadow. You could see like it creates kind of a shadow. I don't know why the name is like this, but anyway. Alright, so what you have to do is cast on a needle size 7 millimeters here or here. I will give you the sizes in US and UK measurements because I use millimeters and this is 7. Well, actually for this type of yarn I use wooden needles because to my mind they are so smooth and the stitches go really smoothly on them. But for me it's perfect, and I have the needle 7 as I said and 60 centimeters of length. It's more than enough for this type of work. So what you basically have to do is to start with, alright, here I have 5 stitches and 5 stitches here, which form this I don't know, the base of my scarf. Then each braid has 12 stitches. Depending on what the number of your braids is, you have to multiply 12 by 4 or 5 or 6. The thinner your yarn is, the more braids you need. So in my case I have how many 4 braids. So I had to cast on 5 plus 48 plus 5, and in all together to get this pattern. So if you need 5 braids, you have to cast on plus 12 stitches. If it's like 3 braids are more than enough for you, something like this. Let's see, if we take 3 braids, it's 19 centimeters plus 4, so you would get something around 23 centimeters. Yeah, as far as I remember, each braid is 7 centimeters long. Yeah, it is actually. So again, one more time, we cast on 5 plus 12, 12, 12, 12, depending on the number of your braids, and then 5 more in the end. How do you cast on the needles? If somebody doesn't know, I'm going to show you. If you know that, you can just move on for some 20 seconds. So, this is how you do it. This is how I do it. There are actually a number of ways of casting on, but for me personally, this is the easiest one because there are Italian ways and what else? I mean, different types of them. I'm using the simplest and mostly used, I should say. So I take the yarn with my thumb and my index finger like this, as you can see, and the 2 lower fingers hold these two yarns. Well, what you have to do, you have to leave a tail of about 80 centimeters. 70, 80 would be enough. So this is where you actually leave the tail of it, and this right part goes to the ball. So this is how you hold it. This is where to the left you have the tail, to the right you get the ball. So what you have to do, the first one is the most difficult one. So with your needle in your right hand, if you're a right-handed person. For the left-handed people, I don't know how to do that. So you do like this. I hope you see it. So you do like this, putting it like forward, to your body, to you, pushing it to you. You see? one more time. So like this to your thumb, then into this hole like this, and whoop, and you already have 2 stitches. Then it's all like done for you, you know, you don't have to do it one more time. And you go into this hole and then whoop, here you go. You could just tighten it a little bit, but not too hard, because then you will have to work with it. So one more time, in the down, forming this hole here, in the hole, and whoop. What's this word actually, whoop? I don't know, but I like it. So tighten it a little bit, and you go like this for, how many did we say? 58 stitches, like this. And then you start work. What you do next, I'm going to show you right now. I don't need it here. So imagine that you cast on 58 stitches, and here you go. They're all here on your left needle. So we start actually with the face part of it. And what we do next is this. Oh, by the way, what you need for your scarf is an extra needle, like this. You see, it's got this angle here. It's made for different types of braids, and I got it from AliExpress. I actually got this whole set where you get 2 extra needles of this shape. One is thinner, one is thicker, and you could use something like this, or I don't know, you could use any type of needle, just something rather short which will not disturb you, and something really light, because it has to hold the stitches. And here, thanks to this shape, the stitches will stay in place. So what you need is here I've got so many things. I'll leave a link to this set below the video. You could order it. It's a good thing. There's everything you need for knitting, sometimes even for crocheting. So it's everything here. Alright, so we use this extra needle here. So what we do now, I'll tell you just right away that the things that I'm going to show you now, it's actually not planned here right now. Then I will have to cast off everything. But I just wanted to show you like how it looks and what you have to do. What I mean is that according to my pattern, I have to do the other thing right now. But I decided to make this video on the spot, and that's why I'm gonna do it in a. So anyway, now if you follow the steps that I'm showing right now, this is actually the start of your scarf. Imagine that you are here at the start of it. As you can see, at the beginning of the scarf, this part of the braid goes up. You see? This is where we start, because for now I already did it. But I will do it one more time just for showing it to you. But I don't, okay, you'll understand it a bit later what I mean. Okay, so we have 58 stitches right now here. What we do, we cast off the first one. This is what we always do in all types of knitting, well, almost all types of knitting. So the first 4 stitches you have to knit. It's 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'm using here at the beginning of the scarf, I'm using this classical way of knitting, but mostly I use the continental one, so you're gonna see it right now. So your next step is you take the extra needle and you do 1, 2, 3 and 4. You need to get 4 stitches on the extra needle on the front of your work. So here you leave it here. Behind these extra needle, you do this. You knit for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here you go. So you have 4 here, 4 knitted. Then you just cast them on back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here you go. They're back on the needle. And you also knit them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here you go. This is 8. And you need 4 more. 3 and 4. So this is the first braid. You've got 12 stitches here, and this is braid number 1. I'm gonna do it one more time with you. So we start with 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the needle in front of your work, and behind it we do 1, 2, 3, 4. Here you go. Then you cast them on back on your main needle. 2, 3, 4. Here you go. Like this. And you knit them. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 8. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. All together you have 12. This is the way you actually go on until the end of the row. You get 2 more braids here, and the last 5 stitches will be like this. You 1, 2, 3, 4 knit, as we did at the very beginning, and the very last stitch you purl. This is what you always do at the end of your work, at the end of your row, I mean. So every last stitch has to be purled, and this is what you do here. Alright? So you finish the row, you turn your work, and here obviously at the back of your work you've got all pearls, and you do the same. But remember that you have to get this piece here. So when you turn your work, what you do next? You cast off the first one, you knit 4. Remember, knit. This part is always knitting, never pearls. It looks like pearls, but the trick is that it's always knit, 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 knit. 4 knits. And then you purl all the way along until almost the end of the row. And the last 5 are the end of your row. And here you count 1, 2, 3, 4 knit. And the last one is always purl. Alright? Then you go back to the face side of your work. And what you basically have to do is just to knit, purl, knit, purl. So you have to get 4 rows. 4 rows, which is what? Don't forget about the edges here. But after this purled row that you did right now, you turn again your work, and what you do is the edge, purl, 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 purl. Oh, sorry, knit, 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 knit. The edge. You turn over the edge, purl, the edge. Turn again, the edge, knit, the edge, and again purl. So, one more time. After you did this crossing with this extra needle, you do 5 more rows according to the pattern, which is purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. 5 rows. never forgetting about the edges. So you do this, and we meet after I do it as well. Alright, so this is what we got. So what you did 5 rows ago was this part. Look. So when we left 4 stitches on the front part of your work, we got this nice piece of work. Then you performed 5 rows, and here they are. This is the place of the crossing, and then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the part. This is it. So you see, it's pretty easy. You have to cross and then work 5 rows just according to what you see. You don't have to change anything. Right now, this is like the second and the last part of this pattern. It's like this. So let's start. We cast off the first one as always. We knit the first 4 stitches as always. I'm sorry. You know, this yarn is so fluffy that sometimes I don't see where actually the stitches. You see what it does? Yeah. So you knit 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here you go. Then what you do next is knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then take the extra needle and 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here you are. You get 4 stitches, but this time you leave it behind the work and you knit 4 in front of it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here you go, you see? Then you put them back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here you go. So they're back. And you also knit them. Look. 1, 2. Together we get 12 stitches. I'll do it one more time with you. So again, we knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We take the extra needle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here you go. You leave it behind the work. Then you do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you place them back. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like this. And you knit them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is the end of the row. And I decided to show it to you, like how does it look like in the end. So we knit again 2, 3, 4. These are the last 4, well, almost the last 4 stitches, and the last one is always purled. This is how you do it. Well, as I said, I use the continental style. I don't know which one is more easy for you. So then we turn the work like this, and here we just work by the pattern. So you cast off 1, you still knit 4, 3, and 4. Here you go. So you have 5 in total, and then you just purl and that's it. You do it like this, you might do it in a different way, but I'm sorry, it's actually doesn't matter much. So, and you go on until the end of the row. So let's see what we got here. In the end, we get this type of braids. Well, what you actually can do to get a little bit different scarf. So what you can do is to create kind of a gap between the braids. How do you do this? So you cast on 5 here, 12, for example 2 or 3, 12, 2 or 3, 12, 2 or 3, 12, and 5. In this way, when you just go along the rows, don't forget that you have this gap. That's why you work with a braid, you knit 2 or 3, I don't know, let's make it 2. Then you braid 2, braid, knit 2, braid, finish the edge, and so on. On the purl side, I mean on the back side, it actually doesn't matter how many stitches you have, you just purl them all the way along. What you can also do here is 5, 12, and this gap can be made like this, which also looks nice, but I suggest that you make 3 extra stitches between the braids and always knit them to get this type of pattern. So if you always knit them, you'll have distinct braids, and I suppose it's gonna look fine as well. Actually, it's not for me, it's for my friend, and she asked me not to make any type of gaps between the braids so that it just looks like a huge braid itself. So I don't know, I like it, but you could just separate the braids by 2 or 3 stitches, extra stitches, and either purl them all the time or just knit and purl them. I mean, knit them all the time to get the purls look, or just work according to the pattern. So anyway, it depends on you and how you want it to look. But if you do it just like I did it, I suppose it's gonna look pretty good. So I will come back to you and paste some photos of the ready work after I finish it, after I've washed it and dry it, and after I join it here. I'll leave the photos in the end of this video just for you to see how it looks on me, or how it looks just by itself. I hope that you understood everything, and I hope that you're inspired to try this type of scarf yourself. If you have any further questions, just don't hesitate and leave your comments, and I will be really glad to help you, like to the extent that I can do it online. But I just hope that everything is so easy here that anyone can do it, even if you're just beginning to knit. And I really hope that everything was clear and you understood everything. If not, as I said, just leave your comments and I'll be there to help. So, see you in my next videos. I'm really happy that you watched this video. Don't forget about thumbs up, subscribe, and be waiting for my next videos. Bye!